Cheers, Marcos.
Cheers, audience.
Welcome to our podcast. This is our very first episode. Bear with us. This is new for us, but we're excited. It's a new adventure for us this year. And so we thought for our first episode, bad luck, I didn't take a drink. Did you take a drink?
Yes, I did take a drink.
I took a drink. Okay, this is just cranberry juice and sparkling water.
And
Nothing fancy.
I'm having tea with milk. This is the first episode. Numero uno. So we're going to share a little bit about ourselves, who we are, where we're at, what we're doing, what we have done. Yeah. And then we go from there.
Okay. Hi, I'm Laura. I am a true Midwesterner, not born, but raised here in central Indiana, where Marcos and I actually live today with our family. So I was raised in a typical middle-class Midwestern family. Both of my parents worked and instilled strong family values and strong work ethic into both my brother and I. Graduated from Indiana University in Bloomington and immediately said goodbye to the Midwest and moved to New York City. And I was actually working for Bloomingdale's as an assistant buyer. It did not take me long, just under a year, to realize that the big city was not for me. And I called mom and dad and said, I want to come home. So I did. And eventually, not long after I returned back to the Midwest, Indianapolis, I ended up moving to Chicago for a career opportunity where I spent 4 years and transitioned from working for a third-party marketing company to what would turn into a 16 plus year career with AT&T, which actually took me back here to Indianapolis. Well, I guess it didn't take me back here. I requested to be relocated back to Indianapolis from Chicago so that I could be with Marcos.
I like that. So a little bit about me. My name is Marcos. I was born and raised in Argentina. I come from a farming community of 2,000 people. Everybody has known each other almost for generations since the first immigrants arrived. And I was the son of a single mother until I was 6. And then my mother married the man that gave me his last name and that I love and thank. So I wanted to travel the world, be seeing the big places. But from the farming community where I was, it was difficult. We were poverty stricken. Dirt floors until I was 17, 18. And then, dressing from hand-me-downs. But so one thing took to the next. I made it to Miami. From Miami, when I went to pilot school because that was a way to travel the world. And then from there, I ended up getting a job here in Indiana where I moved and not where I reside. And so when I first moved to Indiana, that's when I met Laura and I felt that something good was starting. And so here's where I'm staying.
That takes us to how we met.
Yeah, how we met, yes.
Okay. So do you want to tell the story about how we met?
Sure. So Laura and I met at a bar. I just had moved from Miami to Indiana, and I was having a hard time, and I was having kind of like a cultural shock from being out and about every time and meeting people to coming to Indiana. And it was a lot difficult to meet people and talk to anyone with my accent. People just would start to look at me strange. But anyways, so my coworkers took me out one night and we went to a battle of the bands. And I saw this lady there that seemed that attractive. And I liked the way, the surroundings that she was in. And I said, I'm going to try to talk with her. And so anyways, I ended up talking with her mother because she was ignoring me.
Yes, I was there with my parents. A friend of the family's was competing in this Battle of the Bands concert.
So I asked her mother if they were sisters because my mom always told me, son, you got to win the mother first. And so that's how it went. Here we are.
Yes. So, and then just to, add a little bit to that, I did have to ask you for your phone number.
I made her work.
And so then I texted you later that night and I said, now you have my phone number.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we continued to talk really for the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah, to a year, yeah.
Because you were traveling I was still living in Chicago, had a full-time job there, and you were traveling.
Starting the job. So it was taking me to Argentina to export popcorn. That's how we ended up here in Indiana. And I was exporting popcorn from Argentina to the Middle East. And then I was traveling all the time. And so we just chatted and emailed here and there. Well, we emailed constantly.
We emailed, but also wasn't it AOL chat was a thing?
Oh, no, the BlackBerry.
Oh, I forget.
The BlackBerry Messenger.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
So we talked, got to know each other, dated. You would come visit me. Eventually, you would come visit me in Chicago and drive back and forth from Indianapolis to Chicago on the weekends. And then I would do the same.
Yeah.
Until finally we decided that we didn't want to do long distance anymore. And that because I'm originally from the Indianapolis area, and I would relocate to Indy. And so
it was closer to your parents as well, and your brother was living here, so
yep,
it worked out.
So I moved back to Indianapolis, and not long after I moved back, we got engaged.
Yes,
in 2009.
2009 October.
Yeah, October 2009. I think it was on Halloween, actually.
Yeah, something like
You'd think that we would be. I'm pretty sure it was Halloween.
Yes.
Totally. So we got engaged, and we wanted to have our wedding in Argentina, and so we were on. Well, we wanted to. I honestly can't remember why we were in such a hurry. Shocking. I'm always in a hurry about everything. But remember, we got engaged in October, and our wedding was in April, which is fast for a wedding. Did it have to do with the seasons?
Yeah, it was this. I think it was the season something. Oh, we made up this season.
we decided we needed to be married right away.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So we got married in Argentina, in your hometown, in April.
Yes.
Of 2010.
Yeah.
Which was quite the experience.
Yes, for her. For me, it was. Yeah. Well, so it was funny so I did all the arrangements for the wedding in Argentina because
I'm not bilingual. I mean, I understand a lot of Spanish, but especially at that point earlier in our relationship, not enough to plan a full wedding.
So yeah, I know. I ended up planning the whole wedding in Argentina, and it turned out amazing. I don't remember how many people we invited, like almost 300, right?
Yeah.
It was, and so we got family coming from different parts of the country. My aunt Amanda from the south brought 2 goats. It's like a movie.
Yeah, and we should probably do a whole episode on just getting married. It was a 2-week adventure. My mom, my dad, my brother's girlfriend at the time, and Marcos and I flew down to Buenos Aires and spent a week in Buenos Aires seeing the city, being tourists, before we then made the trip to his hometown, which is about a 5-hour drive. And yes, it was quite the adventure. The wedding was amazing. We'll do another episode on just the wedding part, and maybe we can get some pictures or whatever. But so married in April of 2010, and then not long after that I was still working for AT&T. You were working for a popcorn company.
Yeah, the popcorn company. Yeah.
Still doing exports.
Yeah.
And it wasn't long after we got married, like maybe 2 weeks or a month. And yes. The company let you go.
Yeah. So yeah, in June, I think it was in June or in April. No.
It seems soon
Oh,
after we
May,
got
something
married.
like that. So yeah, they let me go, and so that's how a new chapter started. Um, that's struggle a little bit to find a job here. I don't know how many jobs
Yeah, you
applied.
applied for so many jobs
Yeah,
and nothing was coming through.
yeah, nothing was coming through, and but but then we created our own jobs. So decided to with Charlie, her brother, to start a um.
Wait, for before that, you were going to continue. You
Oh
were going to
yes,
continue in exports just on your own. You
yeah,
weren't
yeah,
going to.
yeah. I
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, but because I got so many contacts, international contacts, many of my and had created such great relationships with my customers abroad, they would ask me, "Hey, Marcos, can you get me this product?" So I decided to try on my own to do brokering and becoming an agent for these customers and
And not necessarily for popcorn. It
yeah
was really for whatever product they
yeah
needed. It was food, right?
yeah food
But
related.
yeah.
But unfortunately, it didn't work out. Just the suppliers that I have found were not serious, and so I decided to stop because I didn't want to ruin relationships with the customers that I had worked so hard for many years to create. So then we got into real estate. Like we got our real estate license.
Yeah, did okay, so cuz you if you're not noticing already, my memory is spotty sometimes.
Well,
Did
we have done so many things.
we didn't get our yeah, we have. We didn't get it first. We didn't get our real estate license until after we bought our first rental.
True. Yes.
So like the brokering thing wasn't working out, and I think that's when you were like, let's buy
A rental.
a rental property
Yeah.
because I have time to
Yeah.
fix it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was like January 2011, I think, when we closed on our
Yeah.
very first rental property.
Yeah. So yeah, that's true. Yeah. So the working with my international customers didn't work out. So immediately I started to look into rentals because I had done two flips in Miami, more or less, and had gone well. So, and by seeing the prices here in Indiana, I was like, Laura, we should try to buy our first rental. So we found a place that had been in the market for like over 2 years or more, and it was they were asking over $100,000, I think, over 120. So I remember going with Laura's parents to check it out. The place had been empty for 5 years, and the person that had lived in that house before just was an aging person, and everything was left there. It was a mess, and Laura and I were seeing the potential of the home, and Laura's parents were like, they were quiet, but if you saw their faces, they were in fear. I was like, what am I getting their daughter into? I felt horrible. The basement had like, I don't know, like almost a foot of water. Uh so but well, anyways, we ended up buying it. We got it for $74,000. Um and for 3 or 4 months we worked like every day there. Every day working.
You were working there. I was still working my full-time job. We didn't have kids yet.
No, yeah.
But then I would go on the weekends and help, and my brother and his girlfriend would come over and help, and we really didn't do a whole
No.
lot. You guys fixed up the basement so that it wouldn't leak, and we painted the kitchen cabinets, but aesthetically we didn't invest a ton of money in renovation.
The backyard was overgrown, so I cut so many trees. I love cutting trees and chopping wood because I worked chopping wood for 5 years, so in a milk factory. Then I'll tell you that's another story. But so it was so cleaned up. Basically, we cleaned up the place and painted, and there were very little things we had to do.
Yeah, and we rented it right away.
We rented it right away to a couple that were engineers. Um, and it was steady. They never bothered. Never nothing broke down. And well, a few things here and there. There always something that happens, but
It was minor.
It was minor. They stayed for 2 years. I
2 years, and we weren't making a whole lot of profit on that first rental. It was like minimal. What because we mortgaged it.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't super profitable, but we saw the potential. Um, and so once we did that first rental, that then led to over the next, let's see, 2011 to 2019, um, buying and fixing up properties. Most of the properties that we have bought and fixed up, we've held on to, and we now have a healthy rental portfolio. Some we sold. We actually ended up selling that very first rental to one of the tenants that I think it was like he was like the third tenant.
Yes, the third or the fourth. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Most of our tenants stay anywhere from 2 to 4 plus years in our properties. We don't really have, sometimes we have turnover. We can talk about that too. But anyway, so from that first rental through 2019, we bought and some we sold, but most we kept for our rental portfolio. I counted, I think it was like 17 properties.
Okay.
Um,
we did a flip that I remember it took a while to get it from the bank. And college.
Oh yeah.
And the area was still not there to get the profits that we wanted, because all of a sudden we realized that we for the amount of investments that we were making in a flip, you were not making the return that you expected for such a the risk that you're taking.
Yeah, we made a huge investment in that.
Yeah,
property.
we made a huge investment, and so we rented to two different couples 1 year and then another year, and so that's when that area just rebounded and got better. So we sold it in a week. So we were lucky there, and that money helped us to fuel other projects like other rentals, and we realized that the money that you would make in a flip was not enough to compare to a rental
for us.
For us, yes, yeah. At that point, yeah, because the amount we had to get contractors to do most of the heavy work. I could do cosmetics, but I couldn't go to the point of just electrical, plumbing, or walls and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah. So for what has worked best for us while having full-time jobs, a family, kids, is at least from that 2011 to 2019 period was to build a rental portfolio as opposed to flips. So okay, and we'll definitely dive into that and share some of our favorite rental property purchases and projects. But just to keep moving forward on our timeline, so 2019 market prices were starting to go up, and we weren't seeing as many deals.
No, it's just so the deals that we were used to getting in 2011 and before 2019 were not coming up anymore, and the margins were not there. So we decided to go in a different direction, buy a restaurant, and start our new venture. And we already had bought a couple years prior a location that we thought that we could open. It was in an opposite side of town that we could open a second restaurant location there. And so that's why we didn't get into any more buying after 2018, because in September 2019 is when we bought the restaurant.
We bought the restaurant, and the reason we decided to buy the restaurant location was because Marcos had been making chorizos at home since I moved back to Indianapolis in like 2009. You were missing the Argentine chorizos, dried cured meats, but also chorizo sausages that you were accustomed to at home. And the scene here in Indianapolis has improved significantly in terms of international cuisine that you can find, but you still couldn't you couldn't find what you were looking for, so you decided you would make it yourself, but also because you enjoy that kind of thing. Um, and so from like 2009 all the way to up into buying the restaurant, and even now, you would make chorizos and sausages at home. You would make them for family barbecues. It became a whole thing. He would invite friends and family over, and you would make them here in the house. And um, he always cleaned up after himself, so that was never a concern on my part. But the house smelled like garlic and wine and spices constantly, and our bedroom is above the kitchen, and it just was like overwhelming. And so this sort of all aligned to where I was like, you need a place to make your chorizos that's not our kitchen. um and so we'd been looking at what is currently our restaurant location now, for months. I
Yes,
found it. I sent it to you, and you were like, no, no.
It's
and
too
then
far. Well, it was too far.
It's on the west side of Indianapolis. We live on the northeast side. It's like 30-45 minutes, but it seemed far. But then you drove by it.
Yeah, I drove by it, and it was like a movie moment. Like all of a sudden, like I see it in the corner on the main road that comes from the brickyard, the where the Indy 500 event takes place. And when I saw it, it was like, oh, and I'm like, wow, okay, this is it. We're gonna get it. Um, and then I drove around, and yeah, I thought the location was great because it was easy to get there.
Yep.
From any point, and it was standing out. It was a standing alone building. So yeah, we got it, thinking it was going to be a turnkey operation that was going to be quick.
Yeah, we initially bought it thinking it would just be sort of like a butcher shop situation where Marcos would sell chorizos and sausages to people, or other businesses, but that you would basically just be producing chorizo sausages and selling them for other people to cook. But we then found out that the location wasn't zoned for that.
Yeah, it was not zoned for that, and we needed to open a restaurant. And Laura was like, "Hey, you always cook. Why not open a restaurant? And you have a restaurant experience." Yeah, but I'm front of the house, not at the back of the house. And so we decided to get into the restaurant business knee deep.
Yeah, neck, eyebrow deep.
Yeah,
occasionally over our head.
Finding everything. Just it was, like, and we did it with a shoestring budget.
Yeah, it's just we haven't had any investors. It's just been ourselves investing in the restaurant, and we launched an entire concept from scratch on a shoestring budget. So we had to come up with a name, with a logo, with branding, with the menu, with recipes. We had to find and build a team. We had to repair the current restaurant location. Luckily, we got the property for a great deal, and it came with a lot of equipment, but Marcos still had to find other equipment. And I know we can talk about this too, but everybody was telling you that you needed to buy brand new equipment. Well, we didn't have a budget for brand new equipment.
No, it was, and I would go at that time. I was still working. Yeah, I was still working, so I would go in the evenings and weekends.
Yeah, we forgot to mention, like, sometime over the course of 2011 to 2019, while we were building our rental portfolio and doing real estate investment, Marcos did take on a full-time position with another popcorn company. And so he would work during the day for the popcorn company, immediately at 5 p.m. go to whatever rental property we were fixing up at the time, stay there for a couple of hours, come back for dinner or to tuck the kids in bed, and then you would go back to the rental property till sometimes 2-3 in the morning working on it, come home, go to bed, wake up, go to work, like help with the kids, all of this. And also, while all this is going on, we had 2 kids. At some points we had 1 car, and my parents would drive me to see Marcos at whatever property you were fixing up. Like on the weekends, you would spend the weekends there. My mom would drive me and the kids to see you. Um, so yeah, we can dig into all of that. But back to the restaurant. So 2019, we buy this restaurant, and then really from 2019 to now, we still have this restaurant. We didn't open. The restaurant was not ready to open until late December 2020.
Yeah, it took
Over a year.
yeah, it took way too long. It was too many months. But
What were some of the things that took the time?
well, well, one thing is when you cook at home that there's wiggle room for error and you're gonna eat it anyways. But when you have to put the product out for a customer, like for instance, just finding the bread that is the closest to Argentinian bread, finding the mozzarella, because the mozzarella that we use in Argentina is very creamy and is not the hard type of mozzarella you find here. It's just the bread. The bread has like a hard crust, but not too hard. So it's a French style baguette, but not too hard in the shape. So thinking through every aspect, finding the chips, the meats, uh, just learning everything from the ins and outs, and talking to other chefs. Hey, how would like for instance the pizza dough, and then the suppliers would come over and bring, here we have this dough, yeah, but we would try it. And actually we have a couple of Argentinian friends that they are foodies, that they cook well, and they don't tell you, oh, this is not good. They tell you why it's not good. This needs this is, it's just, they are very specific. So I would bring them to the restaurant and we would do trials on different on milanesas. Oh, yeah. And we would do eating, and so uh, we try to be as objective as possible, as opposed to, well, I like it, people are going to have to like it. So, and then, well, yeah, we did all that, and then like making the pizza dough. Finally, we ended up making the pizza dough by hand, because there were chefs that were telling me, oh, you need this machine. And then I was like, we cannot afford that $20,000 machine. And I was like, what about the Italian grandma that makes an amazing pizza by hand? And so I was like, I'm gonna be the Italian grandma. So, and well, just making small batches, then larger batches, just to keep learning the process. So I don't want to bore you, but it gets very deep from the vision of having a restaurant to getting there. It is the 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 trajectory.
Yeah.
The walk is so long and so arduous. Like you fall, slip and fall constantly until you finally get to that point of, okay, we can launch. So it was like, for instance, I woke up one time at 3 in the morning and figure out the way we would use our oven. That was not a pizza oven, but to make it a pizza oven, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
But it was that constant research, a constant quest to find a solution, because we didn't have the right tools, and that's what we wanted to do: ingenuity and resourcefulness in this, and we made it possible. That's why it took so long. Sorry that made it so long.
No, but there's a couple of things that you touched on that I want to talk about. I mean, I want to mention from, we bought the restaurant in 2019, September of 2019. We did not open to the public really officially until January 2021. And from 2021 through to like all of 21, all of 22, Marcos lived at the restaurant. I mean, you were working 14, 16-hour days almost every day. We didn't see much of you. So that has been a lot of work. Finally, in 2023, we have, last year, we have an amazing team in place. We have an incredible general manager. who is dedicated, loyal, hardworking. We have a great team that's been with us for a while, which has freed you up to step back and, really work on the business instead of in the business. And this year, and something that we've been working on with the restaurant is expanding. So that's been all this time as well. We've been working with engineers.
Yes, engineers, architects. We met with so many architects at the restaurant.
I mean, I guess to explain, currently the restaurant is just drive-through carry-out location. There's no indoor seating, there's no bathroom. So all the traffic we get, which a lot of our traffic, we get people that come from the region, out of state. We were actually nominated by Yelp for last year, number 34 out of 100 across 12 Midwest states. One of the best restaurants in the Midwest, based on Yelp ratings. And so we do get a lot of customers from the Midwest region that are driving to us, but there's nowhere to eat inside. And so something that we have been planning to do and has taken way longer than we could ever anticipate. A lot of, some of it has been COVID caused cost of materials to increase significantly. Finding the right general contractor, finding the right architect, getting the plans exactly the way we want. But we finally see the light at the end of the tunnel with that expansion, and we hope to have that done within the next 5 to 6 months.
Yeah. Needless to say that the pandemic started, and that's what also delayed the opening of the restaurant.
That's true. Yeah.
Because several, like 9 units of our rentals had become empty at the time that no one, that everything, there was a complete shutdown. So during the complete shutdown, I was every day out repairing and getting the rentals ready back again to put them in the market. And I was showing it until that was the most stressful time of my life, because there was no light at the end of the tunnel at that point. You listen to the news and they bombard you with fear. And so anyways, we overcame that, and that's what it took, like almost a year and a half to open the restaurant.
I forgot about that. But so, while we're in this whole thing, because you said something when you were talking about the restaurant, you have this vision of a restaurant, but the path getting there is bumpy, right? Things happen that you don't anticipate, but something that we talk about is taking action, staying in action, and then maintaining that momentum and growth. And as entrepreneurs, whether you're a full-time entrepreneur or you've got a side hustle along with a full-time job, I really think those are key. And specifically taking action. One of the things we talk about is the first thing to do is to have a clear vision. And so, when we were launching the restaurant, or when we were starting our rental portfolios, and we thought, we just need 5 rental portfolios. That was the vision for the restaurant. We had this vision of what the restaurant is going to be. And then for whatever, for that first year, that coming year, you have goals, right? It's like, okay, well, if we can achieve X, Y, and Z by the end of the year, then that means we're on the right path to achieving our vision. And so then we break down those goals into actions, right? Okay, what do we need to do this month, this week, today? But so that's great for getting started to take action, and then staying in action when you run into so many hiccups. Like the key is resilience and adaptability.
And this discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah. You have to be disciplined. You cannot walk away. You can walk away to get perspective, but constantly searching and talking to people, because we don't know everything. But watch sometimes the silliest videos and you're going to learn stuff. I learned a lot of stuff from YouTube.
Yep.
And just talking to people, going to a butcher shop, to the Mexican butcher shop, and learning something new. I'm learning like something new that will help me to sell better. That is different. So anyway, it's a constant search, and it gets bumpy.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur is not easy, and that's why it's going to be bumpy. And things happen when you do things.
Yeah, I love that you were having a conversation the other day with a friend,
Yeah.
and he had just bought a new property that he's turning into an Airbnb, and he ran into an issue, and he was frustrated because I think it had taken him so long to find the right Airbnb property. He finally finds the right Airbnb property, and then he runs into an issue.
Yes, he runs into an issue, and he's like, and as we were talking, he's like, well, these things always happen to me. And I'm like, look, things are always going to happen to people that do things. It's normal. So if you stay on your couch watching TV, not much is going to happen. Maybe just like, I don't know, burn your food a little bit because
Yeah.
you stay watching TV too long. You're going to have to make a new batch of food. But so the bigger the vision of what you're trying to do or accomplish, you're gonna always have hiccup, and just be ready to do it because it's that, and take it on happily because that's where you want to do and where you want to be at,
Right.
as opposed to being like feel a victim. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that this is happening to me. Huh? You shouldn't have done it then. You know?
No, it's true. I mean, I think if you go into your project, your business, whether you're just starting or you're scaling, if you go into it knowing that your journey is going to have hiccups, it's going to have challenges, it's going to have failures, go in with those expectations so when those things happen, you're prepared and you've already talked to yourself about how you're going to handle it. And part of developing resilience and adaptability is seeing failure as opportunity. Okay, what did I learn from this situation? And continuous learning, like you were saying with the restaurant, you would go and you would visit butcher shops. So part of being able to handle hiccups and developing resilience and adaptability is learning from others. And then you also mentioned this, um, building a support network, and that doesn't always mean your friends or your family. It's really important to find mentors, to find peers who have been through what you've been through, are going through what you're going through, and just can provide some insight, some support. And so, yeah, I mean, the journey of entrepreneurship is bumpy. And
Yeah.
I love what you said the other day with your friend. You were like, yeah, when you do things, things happen, and those things aren't always positive. You're gonna have hiccups. But just kind of to round it out, so we talked a little bit about who we are, where we've been, kind of up to this point. And so we talked a little bit about expanding the restaurant to add indoor seating, bathrooms. We got our wine and beer permit. Um, that's kind of what's happening.
Every single part of this that she's sharing, it had bumps.
Oh my gosh.
And how we worked it, it's to me, it feels it's so of like a rewarding.
Yeah.
To feel that we come up with those solutions. Where most people give up, we take it on and figure a way to make things the way we want it. The results, we get the results.
Yeah, it's and those are confidence boosters. So
oh my gosh,
again, yeah,
I feel so good right now about myself.
Listen, there's highs and lows.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There are there are highs and lows of this journey. But yeah, it's definitely when you can face a challenge and figure it out. And maybe it's not your number one choice for a solution, but it's a solution, you adapt and you keep moving forward. So okay, that's where we are with the restaurant. With our rental portfolio, that really, other than continue, having it rented and managing the rentals, we really haven't grown that portfolio um, since we bought the restaurant and have been so focused on that. So we're really excited that This year, we're investing back into growing our rental portfolio. We have a vacant property that we've had for 5 or more years that we're finally renovating, and that will be an additional rental unit that we have, probably 2 rental units. Um, so we talked about the restaurant, we talked about the rental portfolios. What about international exports? Because this whole time that we've been building our rental portfolio and building the restaurant, I've been working full time for AT&T until this past October. So I now work full time in our businesses. You work full time in our businesses. Um, you have also been
Yeah, I don't remember what year.
like
Um,
5 years ago, maybe.
yeah, so the company that
Four.
I used to work for went out of business, and in that process, and I had created a good network of contacts. In I have also taught export seminars for Native American tribes for the state of Illinois as well, and so as the company that I used to work with went out of business, it was natural for me to work with other co-packers to continue making the products for these customers in Japan, in the Middle East, um, Latin America, and so I've been doing business, international business, doing the restaurant
The rentals.
and the rentals. So, but the plan is to expand into that, because doing international business for me is really easy. And recently, I took on
And you love it.
and I love it. I love to engage with people from different backgrounds to learn. I'm so curious about everything and everybody that is different. So um, it's I don't know. It's just I like facts and historical information. And say, hey, Laura, do you know that I learned about this now? And so, but yeah, so I got a contract job with a nonprofit organization that provided technical assistance and outreach to underserved farmers. So I started to work with women in farming, veterans, African American farmers, and Latino farmers. And yes, so I started to work with a group in Puerto Rico that needed roasting hogs, and so I took on that challenge because it was hard for them, and I'm like, well, I've been doing exports for many years. I should figure it out. I talked to more than 50 hog producers. It was near impossible, but it succeeded. We just we're in January what
14th.
January 14th, January 3rd they got the first container full of roasting hogs, and I found a supplier from Texas, and it was not easy. Even though you're offering them to pay them $60,000, that's the kind of purchase they're going to do. Still doesn't work out. But it's not as easy. So we made it work, and it's natural. And now I'm working with another farmer in Puerto Rico trying to find other products. So still, I have called everyone and everybody to get the products. And but yeah, so I enjoy it. I love the challenge. I love to take challenges when someone says no, and in my vision, I think it is a yes. I will work. I will work hard to make it happen.
Yeah, so the international exports is still ongoing. That's something that you can manage from your phone, from your laptop, um,
Phone calls, yeah.
mornings, evenings, weekends, when you're driving to and from the restaurant. And really, from a rental portfolio perspective, we've been doing that business since 2011, and we manage the contracts and finding and securing new tenants. We manage that, but in terms of repairs or anything that's needed, we manage hiring some, well, not even, I mean, we have a team.
We have a
we
team.
have a team that goes and they do the repair, so it's not as demanding as it once was. But anyway, so I guess that's where we are. And we should say, so again, I know we mentioned, in the meantime, we have built a family. We have 2 kids. We travel. Yes, we work a lot, but we travel. We have fun.
Some of the things we have done is build a family tree, embarked in a crusade through Spain to find family through DNAs and research. And also motivational speaking. That's one of the things I like to do when I go to Argentina and educational institutions. I try to share with people from small communities that even though you come from a small community and the world seems very far away from you, you're part of the world that you see far away. So and that everything is possible. They can get out of the town and come back whenever they want to. That they need to think big, that they can make it happen. So I share my story with them, and I like to see people seeing something. I like to see the energy changing and people when they hear me that it is possible, because most people tell you that it is not possible. And so yeah, that's what I like to do as well.
Yeah.
The end.
All right, Marco. So I know we covered a lot. We look forward to sharing more.
Yeah.
On following episodes.
Yep. It's been a great. We have been trying to do this for a long time. We have gotten a lot of people. Okay, why we're here?
Yeah, good point. Why now?
Why we're here? Because we have gotten a lot of people that always ask, how do you guys manage to do this? How do you have time? I don't have time. Well,
you don't have any more time than anybody else does.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, but I mean, like, when people's like, I don't have time, how do you do it? Okay. So, but yeah, I know we have gotten a lot of friends and family and acquaintances that, how do you do all this? When do you have time to sleep? But it's, as a leader, you have to learn to manage your times, to delegate, to be disciplined, to be resourceful. You need that's the difference, that's what we try to do, and that's why we created this podcast, because we want to share with other people that have the desire to be entrepreneurs, or I would like to do this, or like I would like to find my family tree.
I would like to learn a new language.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is possible. It is just how you manage your times and the choices that you make during the day to be disciplined, to dedicate the time it needs, even 10 minutes. I learned English on my own, reading books and translating with a dictionary in my hometown. Well, it is customary to take a nap. I decided to, after lunch, I will not take a nap, and I would read books and translate with a dictionary. So when I came to the United States, I was level 4 out of 6 because I had been learning on my own. And most people were telling me I was crazy, because if you don't have an instructor, and let's say that at that time there was no internet, there was no YouTube. And so, but I still did it. That was 1998, 1997, 1998. So no, sorry. That was 1995, 1996 when I did it. But yeah, so that's why we're here, and we hope you enjoy it. We would like to hear from you. We would like to ask questions.
Yeah, what do you want to know? I mean, our whole thing is, if we can do it, you can do it too. We're normal people who have achieved a lot, and so if we can share and you can learn from our experiences, we're happy.
We would like to be part of your network, the mentors, the support that you need. We were talking before starting this episode today, where Laura and I were talking. that our plan was to have 5 rentals. Well, we more than doubled that. And it has been a progression of once we learn to do things. In the beginning, things are going to be near impossible, and giving up is easy. But then, as the more you practice, the more your time you dedicate, the more people that you talk, the more knowledgeable you become. And that knowledge, you apply it and becomes an experience. That experience reinforces your knowledge and what works and what doesn't work. So it is a progression. So, we have friends and acquaintances that have been trying to buy the first rental for the last 10 years and they still haven't pulled the trigger. It is scary, and it it seems hard, but it is possible. It's just how you manage your time and
your resources,
and how you prepare for the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Until next time.
Yep. Hasta la vista.